Welcome to part 7 of modifying an F-86 Sabre. Just want to show you how far we got here with the tail section. It glued in place really nice. That carbon fiber in the tail right around the elevator box is holding nice and strong, and everything still works okay. There's where the ESC goes, and you got the fan unit mounted in place. And all the wires run through and take down and out of the way. And it looks real good. Next I'm still got to heat shrink these speed brakes. Next I'm going to get some filler and start filling different areas and get it all filled in and get it ready for priming and painting. Right now we're working on the nose section. I've seen on YouTube, and several people have told me that the landing gears for this are very weak, especially the nose gear. They had like these two wooden pieces here that the nose gear mounts to, and a couple wooden straps, hardwood straps coming up. You know, that wasn't very strong. So I took the advice. I want to thank you guys out there for telling me that too. I took the advice and I made hardwood blocks. And I epoxied them in with a baking soda and epoxy mix to make sure they got in there nice and strong and the epoxy set real good. And that carbon fiber that I had mentioned earlier, I love that stuff. I covered the entire landing gear section, nose gear section, with carbon fiber. I layered it on, because the more layers you put on, the stronger it gets. Because even though right now it's just a thin tissue if you use one single layer. By adding layers, I probably got 3 or 4 layers on this right now. And this whole section is rock hard, but it's light. That's the main thing right there. You want it strong yet light. And this seems to be working pretty good. See, hard as a rock, but it's light. On the other half, as you can see, I got the nose gear mounted in, steering serval, and all that's also epoxy with carbon fiber. Nice and strong, and yet light. I even got the wires running through, the nose gear wire and the steering serval wire. So, whoo, it's interesting. I was going to make a platform back here and mount the serval, but I think I can work with it on the top of the nose gear serval, or the serverless nose gear, because it sits on its own rack and I can get it from either the top or the bottom, so I'm okay there if ever I have to do any maintenance on it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put these halves together real quick. This is the platform here that the battery and receiver and other accessories sit on. I got these straps here to hold the battery in place. Let me show you how that sits real quick. Now this is a 3600 milliamp that I used in the Hawk. I'm going to use, this is 5 cell, I believe. Yeah, 5 cell. But I'm going to use a 4000 in this. But it's pretty much the same size, a little. So I'm just using it right now just to show you how I got it mounted. With these Velcro straps that were provided with the kit. And there you go. That looks pretty good. Not only do I have it screwed, but I also have those epoxied down too. Never hurts to be a little safe. So we're going to put that aside. Now what I'm going to do, let's see, I got my trusty spoon that I picked up from the fast food places. Got our epoxy. I'm going to use some silicone adhesive right here to glue this battery tray in place. Because it's kind of rubbery, but yet it sticks and holds. That way to reduce any vibrations. I want that battery to vibrate loose. or anything else, because this is also where the receiver is going to be as well too. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in place. I'm going to put a little bit back there too. The silicone adhesive works good when you need to hold something in place that doesn't need to be very strong, but it absorbs a lot of vibration. Alright, that's that part. That's that half. Okay. Whoop, a little bit on the fingers here. Next we're going to go ahead and start epoxying the fuselage. Got all my rubber bands and blue tape. Now let's see here. Now this is the sections that we want to epoxy. Almost forgot. Now to put some blue tape in this area here on the wires to keep it safe so it doesn't get epoxy. You don't want that to get epoxy. You want to keep that so in case we have to pull the wires or anything. There we go. Now what we want to epoxy would be this area, a little bit up in this area here, there. Gotta get my screws for that. What did I do with those screws? Ah, here we are. So that I'm hooking up the landing gear or the nose gear will help line it up. Then we want epoxy down up in here, there, and here. So it's going to be a good bit of epoxy. So we're going to go ahead and do a little mixing. Where's my driver? Ah, here it is. Got my driver. By the way, some guys have said this is a big plane, and you know what? They weren't kidding. I kind of dry fitted it all together, and this plane is huge. It's big. That's why I decided to up the power of the fan by going up to 4,000. I've even seen some guys go up to 5,000 milliamps and 100 amp ESC. I'm using an 80 amp ESC, but I think that should work okay as well. But we'll find out. If I ever have to change it, it shouldn't be a problem. This is 30-minute epoxy. We should have plenty of time to work with it. And like I said, they provide you with glue, but I like to use my own. And a lot of you other guys do as well too. And I'm going to go ahead and put some more adhesive on the other side of this rack. It's plugging up on me a bit. One second, this is plugging up on me. I hope I'm not boring you. This is turning out to be a fun plane. If I didn't do all the modifications, she would have been done already and had it out to the field. But you know what? This is the fun part. Because when it comes, someone told me a long time ago, all ARFs look alike, so make your ARF different. And that's what I've always strived to do. Because I don't have time to scratch build nowadays, and a lot of people don't. I used to love scratch building. I'm thinking about scratch building a plane that I scratch built many years ago that I really loved. I ended up wrecking it. It was a de Havilland 103 Hornet. That was the little brother to the Mosquito. It was too late to enter World War II, but it was used a bit in Korea. Well, it was with the British Air Force, Royal Air Force, and it was a very fast little fighter. And I scratch built it, and it came out real nice. I'm considering doing it again. Let's see here. You want to. This isn't as technical as that tail section, so we shouldn't have too much problem getting the adhesive where it or the epoxy where it has to go. Not like we did with that tail section. So we just spread it out. Like I said, these plastic spoons work great. Now you can spread it out. You can grab pieces of it, and just put it where it needs to go. Put it right in that cavern.